Wait, hold on a second. Before we dive into this absolute chaos that WWE just dropped on us, I need you to understand something that's going to make your blood boil. LA Knight, the guy who's been carrying SmackDown on his back for months, the man who gets the loudest pops every single week, the superstar who literally trends on social media every time he breathes, is about to face a mystery opponent in what they're calling his last time in this tournament. And you know what the worst part is? WWE hasn't told us a single thing about who this mystery opponent is, and I'm willing to bet everything that they're setting up LA Knight to fail once again. Yeah, you heard me right. They're doing it again. The company that claims they listen to the fans is about to pull the rug out from under the most over babyface they've had in years, and if you don't see it coming, you haven't been paying attention. Drop a comment right now if you're as furious as I am about how they've been treating LA Knight, because this is about to get real, and I guarantee by the end of this video, you're going to be just as heated as every single LA Knight fan across the entire world. Let me paint you a picture of what's been happening. LA Knight has been busting his tail off every single week, cutting promos that make everyone else look like amateurs, getting crowd reactions that most main eventers would kill for, and what has WWE done with him? They've dangled the carrot, pulled it away, dangled it again, and now they're setting him up in this tournament situation where his participation is apparently ending. The mystery opponent angle is classic WWE, and you know what it usually means? It means they're bringing in someone to squash your favorite, someone who doesn't deserve the spotlight as much as LA Knight does, or worse, someone who's going to get the rub off of LA Knight's popularity while he gets absolutely nothing in return. This is the same playbook they've run for years with talented performers who connect with audiences organically, and frankly, it's insulting to everyone who's been supporting this man since day one. Now let's talk about this tournament scenario. They're saying this is LA Knight's last time in the tournament, which immediately raises about a million red flags. Is he being written out? Is he being punished for something backstage? Are they finally realizing they have no idea what to do with someone this talented and are just going to shelf him? The mystery opponent stipulation makes this even more suspicious because it removes any ability for LA Knight to prepare, any ability for the fans to get hyped about a proper build, and any chance for this to be a fair fight. It's a setup, plain and simple, and everyone with two brain cells to rub together can see it coming from a mile away. WWE has this tendency to book themselves into corners with their most popular acts, and LA Knight is the latest victim of their complete inability to pull the trigger on someone when the moment is scorching hot. Think about every single arena LA Knight walks into. The place explodes. His catchphrases are over, his presence is magnetic, his mic work is better than 90% of the roster, and his in-ring ability has been proven time and time again. This is a guy who should be in the main event picture, fighting for world championships, closing out premium live events, and instead, he's stuck in tournament purgatory facing mystery opponents in matches that are being labeled as his last in the tournament. Do you understand how backwards that is? In any other era, with any other company that actually understands how to capitalize on organic popularity, LA Knight would be the champion by now. He'd be the face of the brand. But instead, we're sitting here wondering who this mystery opponent is and preparing ourselves for yet another disappointment in what's becoming a frustrating pattern of mismanagement. The mystery opponent concept itself is almost always bad news for the babyface in these situations. Let me run through the possibilities with you, and I want you to tell me in the comments which scenario you think is most likely, because none of them are good. Possibility 1, it's a returning superstar who's going to get a cheap pop by showing up unexpectedly and beating LA Knight to re-establish themselves, even though they don't need the win as much as LA Knight needs the momentum. Possibility 2, it's someone from NXT being called up who management is high on, and they're going to use LA Knight as the stepping stone to introduce this new talent, completely ignoring the fact that LA Knight is already more over than whoever they're bringing in. Possibility 3, it's someone completely random who has no business being in this spot, but WWE thinks it'll be a cute surprise, and they'll sacrifice LA Knight's credibility for a moment that'll be forgotten in 2 weeks. Or possibility 4, and this might be the most infuriating, it's someone who's going to cheat to win, setting up a storyline where LA Knight chases them but never actually gets his redemption because WWE will get distracted by something else and forget about the whole angle. Which one do you think it is? Drop it in the comments. What makes this situation even more maddening is that LA Knight doesn't need gimmicks. He doesn't need mystery opponents or convoluted tournament structures to get over. The man gets over by being himself, by talking, by connecting with people, and by delivering in the ring when given the opportunity. So why is WWE constantly putting him in these bizarre situations instead of just letting him do what he does best? It's like they're actively trying to overcomplicate something that should be simple. Put LA Knight in meaningful feuds with top talent, give him wins that matter, build him up as a credible threat to whoever's holding the championship, and watch the money roll in. But instead, we get mystery opponents in last-time tournament matches that feel more like they're designed to write him off than to elevate him. The tournament itself raises questions too. What tournament is this even for? Is it for a title shot? Is it for a spot in a bigger match down the line? Why is this LA Knight's last time in it? These are basic questions that should have clear answers, but the way WWE has been presenting this makes it feel like they're being deliberately vague because they haven't figured it out themselves. And that's the problem, isn't it? They don't have a long-term plan for LA Knight. They're just throwing him into situations week after week, hoping something sticks, and when he gets himself over despite their lack of direction, they don't know how to follow through. It's creative incompetence at its finest, and LA Knight and his fans are the ones paying the price. Let's also address the timing of all this. LA Knight has been one of the most consistent performers for months, delivering week in and week out, and right when it feels like he should be breaking through to that next level, they hit him with this curveball. It reeks of cold feet from the decision makers who probably looked at him being so popular and panicked because he doesn't fit whatever mold they had in mind for their top stars. We've seen this story before with so many talented performers who got over organically but didn't fit the company's predetermined plans, and it never ends well. The fans get frustrated, the performer gets cooled off, and everyone loses except for the egos backstage who get to feel like they're in control of the narrative. Here's what should happen, and you tell me if I'm wrong. LA Knight should win this match against whoever this mystery opponent is, and he should win decisively. He should then be moved into a program with one of the top champions, given a proper build with proper stakes, and be positioned as a main event player going forward. That's what the fans want, that's what makes business sense, and that's what LA Knight has earned through his performances. But based on how this is being presented, with the ominous last time language and the mystery opponent setup, it feels like we're heading towards something else entirely, something that's going to leave everyone disappointed and wondering why WWE can't just do the obvious thing when it's staring them right in the face. The frustration from the fanbase is real and it's justified. Go look at social media, go read the comments on any WWE post about LA Knight, go listen to the reactions he gets in arenas. The people have spoken. They want LA Knight at the top. They want him in meaningful spots. They want him treated like the star that he is. And yet, here we are, talking about mystery opponents and last-time tournament scenarios instead of talking about when LA Knight's going to get his championship opportunity. It's disrespectful to the performer and it's disrespectful to the audience that's invested in his success. WWE needs to do better, and they need to do it now before they completely squander what they have with LA Knight. You know what really gets under my skin about this whole situation? It's the complete lack of acknowledgement from WWE about what they have in LA Knight. This isn't some manufactured push where they're forcing someone down our throats and hoping we accept it. This is genuine, organic fan support that you can't fake and you can't script. When LA Knight comes out and says yeah, the entire arena responds. When he cuts a promo, people hang on every word. When he has a match, fans are invested in the outcome. This is wrestling gold, the kind of connection between performer and audience that companies dream about, and WWE is treating it like it's just another storyline they can start and stop whenever they feel like it. That's not how this works. You can't turn organic popularity on and off like a light switch, and if you ignore it for too long or mishandle it too many times, it goes away and you never get it back. Let me take you back for a second to remind everyone how we even got here. LA Knight spent time in NXT being one of the most entertaining parts of the show, cutting promos that were must-see television, having great matches, and building a following that was undeniable. When he finally got called up to the main roster, there was genuine excitement about what he could do on the bigger stage. And initially, things seemed promising. He was getting TV time, he was making an impact, people were talking about him. But then came the classic WWE pattern of stop-and-start booking. One week he'd look like $1 million, the next week he'd be in a nothing segment that went nowhere. One month he'd be in a prominent storyline, the next month he'd disappear from television entirely. This inconsistent treatment is exactly how you kill momentum, and it's frankly amazing that LA Knight has managed to maintain his popularity despite WWE's best efforts to cool him off. The United States Championship run was supposed to be the moment where everything came together. LA Knight finally had gold around his waist, he was being featured prominently, and it felt like this was the launching pad to bigger and better things. But what happened? The reign was fine, but it wasn't built as something special. The defenses were okay, but they weren't given the kind of spotlight and importance that would elevate both the champion and the championship. And when he eventually lost the title, there was no clear follow-up, no obvious next step, no plan for where he goes from here. Instead, we got him being shuffled into this tournament situation with vague stakes and now a mystery opponent in what's being called his last appearance in the tournament. That's not how you treat someone who should be a cornerstone of your programming. And let's talk about the comparison to other wrestlers who've been in similar positions. Think about all the performers over the years who got organically over with the crowd but didn't fit WWE's vision of what a top star should look like. Some of them eventually broke through because the fan support was so overwhelming that WWE had no choice but to push them. Others got cooled off, misused, and eventually faded away or left for other opportunities. LA Knight is at that crossroads right now. The fan support is there. The talent is there. The charisma is there. Everything you need for a top-level star is present. The only question is whether WWE is going to recognize it and act accordingly, or whether they're going to stick to whatever predetermined plan they have that doesn't include LA Knight at the top of the card. Based on this mystery opponent situation and the last-time framing, I'm worried we're heading toward the latter rather than the former. The mystery opponent stipulation also robs fans of the anticipation and excitement that comes with a properly built match. Wrestling is at its best when you have time to get invested in both competitors, when there's a story being told, when you understand the stakes and why this match matters. Throwing a mystery opponent into the mix turns it into a gimmick rather than a meaningful contest. Sure, there might be a momentary surprise when the opponent is revealed, but unless it's someone absolutely perfect for this moment and unless they have a plan for what happens after this match, that surprise means nothing. It's empty calories, a quick sugar rush that doesn't provide any lasting satisfaction or contribute to long-term storytelling. And LA Knight deserves better than being a part of empty calorie booking. I also want to address the people who might say I'm being too negative or pessimistic about this. Trust me, I would love nothing more than to be proven wrong. I would love for this mystery opponent to be revealed and for it to make perfect sense, for LA Knight to have an incredible match, and for this to lead to something bigger and better for him. I'm a wrestling fan just like you, and I want to see good things happen for performers I enjoy watching. But pattern recognition is a thing, and WWE has established a pretty clear pattern when it comes to handling organic babyface popularity that doesn't fit their plans. They hesitate, they second-guess themselves, they book these weird holding pattern scenarios, and by the time they decide to pull the trigger, if they ever do, the moment has passed and the momentum is gone. I'm simply calling out what I'm seeing based on years of watching this company operate, and right now, what I'm seeing with LA Knight doesn't fill me with confidence. Consider also what this does to LA Knight's character and credibility. He's supposed to be this confident, trash-talking, self-assured performer who backs up everything he says. But when WWE books him in situations where he's constantly coming up short or being put in disadvantaged positions like facing mystery opponents in elimination scenarios, it undercuts that character. How are fans supposed to buy him as this unstoppable force when WWE's booking doesn't support that narrative? There's a disconnect between who LA Knight is supposed to be and how he's being presented through the actual wins and losses and storyline positions he's given. That disconnect creates confusion for casual viewers and frustration for hardcore fans who can see the potential being wasted. The business side of this is worth examining too. Wrestling companies make money when they have stars that people want to see, when they have matches and storylines that generate interest, and when they have performers who can move merchandise and sell tickets. LA Knight checks all those boxes. His catchphrases are everywhere, his segments get strong reactions both live and on television, and there's clearly a market for him as a featured performer. So from a pure business perspective, not pushing him harder makes no sense. You'd think a company would want to capitalize on someone who's this over, especially in an era where creating new stars is supposedly a priority. But instead, we're getting mystery opponent tournament matches that feel more like they're testing whether his popularity will survive poor booking rather than trying to elevate him to where he should be. Let's also consider the roster dynamics and where LA Knight fits into the current landscape. SmackDown has some established main event players, but it's not so crowded at the top that there's no room for LA Knight. In fact, injecting him into the main event scene would freshen things up and give fans something new to get excited about. The dream matches and potential feuds are sitting right there waiting to be booked. LA Knight versus whoever's holding the world championship would be an easy sell because his promos alone could build incredible heat for any program. But you can't get to those marquee matches if you're eliminating him from tournaments and putting him in holding pattern booking that doesn't progress his character or his position on the card. There's also the matter of what message this sends to other performers on the roster. If someone like LA Knight, who does everything right and gets himself over despite inconsistent booking, still can't break through to that top level, what does that tell everyone else? It tells them that fan support doesn't necessarily matter, that working hard and connecting with audiences isn't enough, and that there's some other criteria for success that has nothing to do with the actual fundamentals of professional wrestling. That's a demoralizing message that creates a roster full of people who might start wondering why they should bother trying to get over if it's not going to be rewarded anyway. WWE should want performers fighting to connect with audiences, and they should reward those who succeed at it. LA Knight's situation is a test case for whether they actually practice what they preach about listening to fans and pushing people who resonate with audiences. So as we head toward this match, whatever it ends up being, I want you to keep your expectations in check but your voice is loud. Comment on this video, share it with other LA Knight fans, make it clear that we're paying attention and we're not going to accept them wasting his potential anymore. LA Knight deserves better, the fans deserve better, and it's time WWE recognized that and acted accordingly. Let's see what happens with this mystery opponent, but I'm telling you right now, I'm not optimistic, and you shouldn't be either until they prove us wrong. Hit that like button if you're with me on this, subscribe if you want more real talk about wrestling booking, and let's continue this conversation in the comments because this is far from over. LA Knight's story is still being written, and we as fans have a role to play in making sure WWE doesn't drop the ball on one of the most naturally over performers they've had in years. Yeah.